5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Phenomena. Tiptoe through the tulips with me.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to...
This one's explosive.
It's time for podcast poetry and supernatural noetry, speaking truth that's dire, paranormal facts and satire.
What's up? You're listening to Talk Supernatural Radio, where we bring it to you live from the U.S. to the U.K., up north to down under, Rhode Island to Easter Island, Elephant Butt Estates, New Mexico to flippin' Tennessee. And if you're listening, you are right where you're supposed to be.
The views and opinions and personalities expressed on this show are those solely of TSR and do represent who we are and what we believe. If you don't like satire, if you find rabbit trailing annoying, if you don't like to laugh, if you can't handle the truth, do not listen to this show. We are not responsible for your nightmares, denial issues, bleeding ears, or annoyance.
And if you can handle it, well then let's do this. We are Heidi in Scotland and investigators of the supernatural in tow. Two truth casters. We're airing once again to help shine light on the darkness, giving you wild reality via news, facts, experiences, stories, and laughs and words to live right by.
The way you said darkness.
Darkness.
What's up, Truth Seekers? Welcome to another TSR Friday, another TSR Friday the 13th. I want to remind anyone listening that they can hop on the live chat via Spreaker. Just hop on there and click on the little chat bubble, and you can ask us any questions or comments during the show, and we will read them live. I don't know if anybody's going to be home on Friday the 13th at night.
They should be. Everybody should be home because we're on live.
Yeah.
That's what they should be doing. The entire planet should be tuned in. There's really no reason not to be. Even the Martians, they can dial in on other planets, satellite. I mean, it's all feasible. So tonight we want to give a big shout out to Dan in Kearney, Michigan.
Hey!
He's got a cool Facebook group, Upper Michigan Paranormal Truth Seekers. They're always discussing the real aspects of paranormal.
Yep.
Dan does the same work we do, just probably not as good. But, and we want to say thank you, Dan, for casting truth.
Yeah, Dan's a pretty cool guy. We correspond quite often, and he knows his stuff. So if you guys ever want to get in some deep conversation, go over to his Facebook page. I'm always on there, too. So, okay, so we are doing another special TSR Friday the 13th edition. It's a little Parapalooza of topics that scream...
Cray, cray.
All right, it is Friday the 13th, the most feared day in history by many. But what is behind the history of this date and the psychology of fear itself?
Who's afraid of Friday the 13th?
All around here, we like to scare people. So it's kind of the days that are unlucky to others are kind of lucky to us.
Friday the 13th fears have been around forever, which go back to the ancient idea that 13 is unlucky.
An intriguing aspect of our lives and history with connections, events, practices, and beliefs from the ancient cultures that really brings the superstitions and fears into today.
1 in 15 Americans associate the day with bad luck. More people won't fly or drive today than any other. NPR reports enough people call in sick, postpone trips, or delay major buys that the economy loses about $1 billion. The best advice: breathe and remember, your fears are an emotional reaction or come from anxiety. Reporting in West Bottoms, Belinda Post, 41 Action News.
Now, some of those historical references. Judas was the 13th guest to arrive at the Last Supper, and Christ was crucified on a Friday. In medieval times, Friday was the day of Sabbath for witches, and in Roman times, Friday was also the day of executions.
I didn't know that Friday was the day of executions in Roman history.
Oh, you want to knock it out before the weekend.
That's true. I guess I never
Finish
thought.
the work week up, kill a few people and start the weekend out.
Yeah, and then don't they do the little thing where they run around with their little chariots and kill people? Or no, gladiator stuff where they kill everybody?
Yeah,
They did that on the weekends, probably.
That's a little party thing.
Yeah, Romans were harsh, man.
Yeah, well, somebody had to do it. Otherwise, you have nothing to talk about.
I guess. Hey, Algie, where you see that crap execution on Friday? Yeah, that was pretty good stuff.
One, huh? Yeah.
Well, tonight we are going to just do sort of a Parapalooza thing going on. We're going to do...
I just want to use that word. That's the second time already.
It's fun. Parapalooza. Yeah, it's like fun little tidbits of paranormal stuff. We're going to talk about past cases.
Or a Parapalooza.
See? Now you want to keep using it.
It is kind of a fun word.
I thought so.
I'll give that to you.
You know another fun word? Guam. Or Bora Bora. Bora Bora is
Why
fun
is
to
Guam?
say. I don't Guam. I don't know. It just sits there. Guam. I don't know. Or Guarmy, like our fish.
Yeah,
There's a lot of fun words out there. All right, so let's get into some interesting news. Creepy painting becomes movie. Okay, last week how we talked about that crying boy painting, right?
Yeah.
If you guys didn't hear it, there's
a real tearjerker.
Oh my God. There's a curse that says fires followed the painting and prints.
Right. And the only thing that survived was the painting, and the place was burnt.
Yeah,
that's pretty weird. Yeah.
And I can't remember. Was it like over 50 of them or something?
Huh.
There was a lot of them. But there's another painting called The Anguished Man, and it's making headlines. Now, the site, which shall be nameless because I don't want to give it any... I hate this site, and I don't want to give it any credence, so I'm not going to say it. But the site that led the whole Slender Man thing into the infamous nightmares and violence and of those two girls attacking their friend, that one. Well, it has another story on there that's so freaky, it's going to be made into a movie. It's a fictional story where a painter used his own blood to paint the creepy, anguished man before committing suicide. Which, and I guess in its own sense, myself being a writer, I find that very deep and interesting, so I could see how that would capture people. And I'm actually going to post the picture of the painting on our Facebook site, but it is a creepy painting. But remember, the story isn't real. This website, you just post stories as if they are real or whatever, and people get into them. It's sort of like an online soap opera in a way. But the whole story goes that the painting then fell into the ownership of someone after this guy died, and that he's now posting YouTube videos of paranormal occurrences around the painting. So even though it's supposed to be a true story, it's not. And it's been bought by, I think it's LeBray Pictures for a film called Anguished. It's going to be promoted as based on a true story and set in the United Kingdom. Anguished tells the story of an English man who inherits a weird painting locked away in an attic away from sight. I don't know. I just, I guess in a way I think it's just promoting dark stuff, and I just don't think that they should be... I mean, I could see people like scary movies and they're sick of the stuff that's been going on.
It's
so
blind demand. I'll tell you, that's what people want to see. That's what you're going to get.
Well, I'm not going to see it.
You show them, Hyde.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody's got to stand up.
I'm going to make a nice stand.
Stand for something or you will fall for everything.
What do you, okay, so in reference to this, but how those girls with the Slender Man thing, they used to, in their defense, their attorney tried to show the artwork that they did before, and it was so creepy, including they actually mutilated Barbie dolls, but they drew these paintings and these drawings and stuff. So, I know when I was a kid and I was seeing spirits and all that stuff, I didn't really draw anything macabre, but I did draw pictures of, like, scary, gross, dark.
Macabre's a word?
Yeah.
I never heard it before.
Yeah, you did. You never heard macabre?
No.
Macabre. Well, now Elvira, she was Darkness of the Night. She always used that word.
Elvira.
No, not the country song. Remember Elvira with the big boobs? Elvira.
Oh, yeah. I know Elvira.
No,
yeah.
stop.
And she's blonde, isn't she?
I think so.
Yeah.
But not with the wig. But she used the word
she's still
macabre all the
blonde.
time.
She's
So if
got
you
a
watched
covering.
it, you heard it. You just don't remember.
I don't remember
You
it.
blocked it out. That's good. Just, well,
I'm
anyways.
learning new things.
Nice. Well, so I used to draw sort of weird things of stuff that I saw. So I'm wondering, these people who do these paintings, whether it's a real painting or for this story site, I wonder if they have spirits with them that they're emanating their dreams or their dark images
Could be.
too.
So to draw something, you're going to have an image already. So
That's true.
it's in there. It's rattling around your head someplace.
Because there's sure a lot of dark artwork out there.
There is. It's a very dark world, so you're going to end up with that reflection back on paintings.
Do you think
It's
that...
like them Slenderman
Yeah.
case girls. I mean, man, there's flags all over that thing.
I
Before
heard-
that ever happened,
I think they're making a Slender Man movie too.
Of course they will. Everybody wants to capitalize and make what they can off of anything, whether it be right or wrong or indifferent. Doesn't matter. It's all about the money.
Well, and then people
Money,
will go
money,
see
money,
it. They're
money,
open up to that.
money.
And they're desensitizing people so they think that demonic stuff isn't scary. Oh, I hate that.
Well, it's scary when it happens to you.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until Slender Man comes to your room and
Yeah.
wants you to kill your friend.
Yeah.
Kid. All right. So, sort of an update. This is a news story, but a past story that we did was on the CDC, how they had their hands in, like, the germ biowarfare stuff being used.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's this story. In a recent investigation by USA Today, the CDC Prevention Laboratory was suspended due to mishandling of dangerous germs.
Really?
Whoa.
Imagine that.
But, and I'm wondering, are they just making us think that? Because why would
There's
they
always
give us...
more to everything.
That's true, because they're saying a total of 6 secret enforcement actions have been taken against other labs, over a little more than a decade. But we just haven't heard about it until now. They're saying for years there's been allegations of offenses with security and safety of potentially deadly toxins. It's undisclosed viruses, so they're not going to tell us, and bacteria. More than 100 labs are in question right now. So it's like, and maybe this story did break, but maybe it'll be the last we hear of it, or they're getting a
There's
slap on the
always
wrist.
so much more going on other places, and you only have a fraction of what really goes on.
But when
I mean, just look how many years it's taken everybody to figure out, GMOs and, all the chemicals and this. I mean, decades and decades and decades of junk goes by before somebody starts raising flags. Then, all of a sudden, it's this thing. It's like, there's so much more that goes on.
That's true. Yeah. And now, like when people like you and I, or like Alex Jones or whatever, we call it, everybody's like, oh, they're conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
But then
you guys
USA
are
Today
just-
does it. Everybody's like, ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like, we said so. Sort of like the whole Flint, Michigan thing. We called it. Oh,
Yep.
But so I just thought that was interesting. So there's another exorcism in politics. Remember when we talked about those we have the video up on our Facebook page of the 3 men who tried to cast out that demon from Ted Cruz? That was so funny. They shove the mirror in his face and they say, "Confront it, it's so ugly." That was so funny. And not that I'm trying to demean the act of exorcism and try to cast out spirits, because it's very serious. You just got to do it right.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You don't walk around with holy water and a mirror. I don't know. It's just funny. Well, anyways, it looks like these spirits from Ted Cruz hopped over to Trump, at least according to some people in Chicago. On May 1st, just a few days ago, during their May Day celebration, Chicago priests prayed for Donald Trump's soul and exorcised a statue model of him during the street festivals.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's interesting.
You can't do this. You can't. Well, there'd be mixed. What is that? That religion, down or
Santeria?
New Orleans.
Voodoo?
So you're mixing voodoo and Catholicism together?
Yeah.
So you can take a statue now and perform an exorcism. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just weird. I mean, first of all, what are your neighbors thinking when you carry out this life-size statue of Trump? You can't get it in the car. What do we do? And your neighbors are watching out the window.
People come up with so much crud.
Oh, well, these priests took it seriously, I guess. So, and so it began at Chicago Union Park, and they marched down the street at Trump Tower. So they're celebrating their May Day, but they just thought, hey, let's just throw in this exorcism.
Have an exorcism. Yeah, all right.
Hey,
That's
why
a good
not?
idea. Let's do it.
Let's go for it. You got that Trump doll? No, I got to get it. You know, like when you go to Walmart and you got those life-size Star Wars stormtroopers?
Yeah.
And they're going to have like these life-size Trump dolls and people are going to be trying to exercise them. Oh, well, anyways, they said things like, they were praying, and they said, we ask that you bring out the demons and the demonic forces of our brother, Donald Trump. So now Donald Trump's their brother. And they did sing some worship songs, and they busted out holy water and holy oil, and they...
Holy oil?
Yeah, and then they performed an exorcism, I guess. So we'll see see if it worked. I don't know. How will we ever know?
Yeah, how will we know?
Yeah.
Right.
And it just, and the thought, that counts, I guess, but that only works with gifts. But when you got exorcisms and you do it incorrectly, God's laughing, the demons are laughing, they're all like, this ain't, no. You can't do that.
You can actually open up a door with that, too.
Sure. It's a mocking and a...
You better be really... Just something... Man, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's sort of odd, huh?
This world needs an enema.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Oh, my gosh. Another interesting story that was going on is a haunted kindergarten class. So there's this kindergarten teacher, and she captured a video of an unexplainable incident of paranormal activity at the school she works at. Huh. So in the video, the bathroom door near the back of the room unexplainably opens, and then it slams shut and then opens again. And at the same time that's happening, the television set switches on and off by itself. So she posted the video on her Facebook page, but since then it's been removed because I watched it previously, and then I went back to it, and it's off now. So maybe the school's like, turn that thing off.
Turn it off. We know our kids are possessed. Don't worry about it.
No one's gonna bring their kids here. God, what are you thinking?
You've been to a kindergarten class. They're probably all possessed.
Oh my God, they're peeing. No, that's what kindergartners do. Oh, they're puking all over. No, that's what
they do.
Yeah. Oh, they're acting up. They're screaming. They're pulling out their hair. That's what
they're eating glue. What's going on? Yeah, that's pretty normal.
So I guess, and I'm not really sure, she didn't really say why she videotaped, but previously she did say she heard footsteps in the past when people weren't there. Like everybody was gone for the day, she would hear footsteps, and she would hear the sound of furniture moving. So she probably was
Could be.
Everybody has a video thing on their phone.
Some kindergartner didn't like the way things went somewhere along the line.
Well, the principal took it seriously, and she called in a ustaz, which is a Muslim scholar trained in Islamic law. And they wanted that person to come to the class and ward off any evil spirits. Yeah. So if you're good in Islamic law, I guess you can
Where was this? You don't know.
I want to say, I think it starts, Malaysia.
United States? Oh, no.
No, it wasn't United States.
Right. I was going to say, why would you call a Muslim? Okay, but they're outside. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that
so...
makes sense.
What do you think? Do you think a school could be haunted?
Anything could be. I mean, anybody can find their little soul being in the wrong place. You don't know.
Well, it's funny because, like...
Somebody didn't get to... when they were younger and they were in school, they didn't get their turn painting or something, and, they later on in life died, and they're going to go back for their revenge.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, I am going to get my turn to paint.
And then all of a sudden this finger paint's all demonic, and it's
maybe they didn't get to
called the English kindergartner.
The little donut holes. Remember to make the little donut holes in school? Did you ever get to do that?
No.
Little donut holes.
Like real donuts? You got to make real donuts?
I mean, the teacher kind of made them for us, but...
No.
Yeah.
My teacher never made me donuts. What?
Yeah,
I know one time we made homemade cheese. We lived in such a small town in Mount Vernon, New Hampshire, that our school was actually an old house. And it didn't have a library. So we actually would have to walk. Our entire class would have to walk half a mile to the library. And it's a public library in the small town.
Like a little field trip.
Yeah. So like library day was like twice a month or something. So on the way walking to the library, our little class had to take turns making cheese. So I don't know, they had like curd milk or something in a jar. And we just had to shake it. And we shake it for so long.
The next person.
Yeah, and then we did that all the way, and then we got to eat it. We got back. I'm like, I'm not eating that. That's gross. It's like all warm milk, all curdled.
If you think about cheese in general, it's just kind of the whole idea of it's like ill.
Yeah.
Tastes great, but it's ill.
Less filling. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty filling.
Oh, God. We buy cheese in a store, all good. But when you're shaking it with a bunch of kids in a class and it's all warm and
probably
bumpy.
Really good, though.
I don't remember trying it. I think I was freaked out by the whole thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Does that have anything to do with paranormal? It is pretty gross.
All right. Cool
Okay.
story, Hyde.
Thanks. I rabbit
Cool
trail
story.
sometimes. But, I think about hauntings. And people are like, well, this stuff never happens when all these people and stuff are here, when you've got, like, a whole school of kids and a classroom of kids. But do you think it's because of all the energy that's going on? I mean, you've got lights, you've got noise that's drowning out anything. Or, why don't you ever have a full classroom of 30 kids, a teacher, they're doing their thing, and all this stuff happens?
Well, I think you just said it yourself. It doesn't mean it isn't happening, or some of it's not happening, or it could be drawn to a certain individual, certain time period. There could all be a slew of reasons why it doesn't do it all the time, or specifically it may be, like you said, the energy.
Yeah.
Or maybe a specific person.
Because I can't recall one story ever that had a mass haunting. We've heard of people, like, we're going to get into something in a minute.
You have, like something.
Like 20 people plus.
Yeah, all see it, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. Yeah, right.
Now, we did see, excuse me, I am sick, but I'm still doing the podcast.
Yeah, she's been sick all week. In fact, I haven't been doing so well this week. Our son's not been doing so well this week. We're lucky to be alive, people. You gotta appreciate this.
Yeah. But like in that movie, The Entity, which was made off of a real story, there was, I think, I want to say close to 15 people plus that witnessed something. That's the only time, but I don't even know if 15 is the accurate number. But I know there were a lot of people, but not as many as I'm talking about. So yeah, it's interesting.
Very.
But they were calling it out too. They were like, show yourself, and they were irritating it and stuff. So that's probably why. Yeah. But I always wondered that. But so do you think, like, so let's say we're at someone's house on a case, and they're telling us all the stuff that's happening, and we're like jotting it down or whatever. And if we were to have on our lights, in the house, and we're talking the radio, we don't notice anything, and then we turned off the lights and we turned off our radio and stuff and sat there, do you think we would experience something? Is it
that's all hit and miss? Why are you asking me?
Well, I want to know, is it electricity that's blocking it out, or
it's a bunch of different reasons.
I need to know. What are they?
You already know the answer. What are you asking me for?
I want to know. Because I really don't know. I don't know the answer.
Every ghost has got his own reason for doing what he does. Maybe he didn't like the radio station.
Oh, yeah. He likes oldies, not 80s.
Yeah, right.
What am I thinking? Well, 80s is oldies now.
Didn't like the light. It was too bright.
Oh.
Yeah?
Deep reasons.
There's a lot of reasons for all this stuff,
Okay.
Maybe it's more of a, like a classical type stuff,
Oh.
Maybe a little pop rock going on there,
Pop rock.
Yeah, a little pop rock.
Wants to hear a little Justin Bieber.
Yeah, a little Justin Bieber, Yeah. It's all good,
Okay. Another story. Conjuring 2. I didn't even see Conjuring 1.
This is probably the second one.
But, yeah, it is. It's coming out June 10th. It's The Conjuring, first one, depicts Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases. Uh-huh. And so this one's the second one. And it's on...
I know, Conjuring 2.
It's before Conjuring 3.
It works out that way. It's kind of nice.
This one's on the Enfield haunting, which we have talked about one of our earlier podcasts. But... and I don't even know if you remember the story, but this story is either the longest and most witnessed paranormal case in history, or it is the greatest paranormal hoax ever, and it's sort of debatable. We don't know. So the story goes, Janet Hodgson, I hope I'm saying that right.
I guess
she
so.
says
That's what it looks like.
She can't remember everything, but she can remember the main events because she says they leave scars, which I personally know is to be true. Do you want to read that?
It says, stuff like, the kids, the bed shaking, dark shadows, footsteps, knocking, furniture moving. The police were called because Mom thought there was burglars. Officers reported witnessing a chair rise up and move across the floor on its own, in full view of everyone present. Now, no one knew how to help. So the police left.
Maurice Gross from the Society of Psychical Research got involved. He saw a T-shirt fly off a table past him, Legos, marbles flying around, and said they were hot to the touch.
Huh. Sofas floating and tipping over, beds, tables, chest spinning, stones flying right over the house, coins dropping out of the air. Ooh, that could be beneficial.
I like that ghost.
Dogs barking in the middle of completely dogless rooms. You really wrote dogless rooms?
Yeah.
You actually wrote dogless rooms.
Well, rooms with
dogs barking in completely dogless rooms.
Yeah.
You actually wrote that.
Yeah, rooms with no dogs. What was I supposed to write?
Dogless rooms. I've never heard of dogless rooms. Anyways, activity circulated around Janet, repeatedly thrown out of her bed at night.
Yeah. Now, here's interesting is it really increased when the day she got her period. We have talked about how with puberty
I bet that was a
kids,
bloody mess.
Oh God, that is horrible! I can't believe you said that. Ew. But you know, like when kids go through puberty,
hormonal.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's just interesting because things that when we started this work, and there wasn't a lot of information. We've been doing this for many, many years, and before like all this stuff came to surface about these past cases, publicly at least, you know, all the things that we found out are corresponding. So it's not like people are making this stuff up. I mean...
Right. And that's part of the validity of a lot of our stuff, too, is when people say this or that, we can kind of look at a track record and say, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that was one of the main things. Now, one evening, those investigators came and they removed everything from her bedroom because she kept getting thrown out of her bed. So they wanted to see what would happen if there was nothing to throw. And later that night, the family heard like this violent retching sound. And so they go upstairs into this empty room, and they found the iron fireplace had been pulled out of the wall.
Wow.
So Janet would go into these odd trances, too, where she had this strange voice. And on our past podcast where we talked about this, I don't know if we played the clip or if we gave the link or what, but I can always find it and put it up too because they did a documentary on it and they have the actual recordings of her voice. And you might remember this because we talked about it where she had a normal 12-year-old voice or however old she was, but when she talked, this was not a normal kid's voice.
Right, not a 12-year-old voice. Like.
So and so to me some of this stuff is true. And then they did some kind of test on her throat or in the audio or something to see if she was making that voice up or whatever. And they had found that she was not making it up. Like it was physically impossible for her voice box and larynx to do that. So, I mean, there is validity. But here's what's interesting with this case is one parapsychologist named Anita Gregory, she called this case questionable, greatly exaggerated, and ultimately pathetic because she had tested it on occasions and caught Janet faking things. Now, Janet, being older now, because this was many, many years ago, she admits that she faked a lot. She said there were times when things would happen and times when they wouldn't. Sometimes, if things didn't happen, you'd somehow feel you failed. So she stated like only 2% was faked, but, I don't know. How much?
How do we know it wasn't 3 or 4%?
Right. I mean, 2.5.
Yeah. I mean,
come
there
on,
you go.
Janet.
Right there.
Let's be real. You never know. So and I guess that's where when you've got these paranormal shows and people really have good intentions to go on them, and of course the shows want something to happen.
Well, yeah.
But if they don't, they'll push you to fake it. So I guess I could see she's a young kid and they're all like watching her and. You don't really understand the concept and what's really going on. So, in a way, I could see why she would fake stuff. Like, I think one incident was this Anita Gregory chick. When she tested her, she just didn't let things happen. She's like, okay, I want you to stand away against the wall with your hands up, do things so that we can watch you where you can't fake stuff.
Right.
It had something to do with bending a spoon, and she was caught faking that, and just little things. So, I mean, that's a lot of pressure for a young kid, too.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand what's going on.
Right.
And I know that when we used to, early on, when we were ghost hunting, I know there were people that had faked a couple things, like they were trying to, with EVPs and stuff, and you could tell, and it happens. And now on the internet, it's everywhere. You just don't know what's real. You know,
If it's on the internet, it's real.
Oh, that's true.
Everything's true.
Like on Wikipedia,
Oh,
everything's
yeah,
real
yeah.
and factual.
Absolutely.
But, you know, when people post those pictures of orbs or they send us pictures of spirits and all that, it's like they're always asking me my opinion. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know who took it. I don't know the person. I don't know the situation.
Conditions, there's lots of different things that can create
Oh, yeah. And then when you tell them, oh, look, I was a photographer for many years. That's a camera strap. Or that is smoke. Or that is fog. Or that's dew. They're like, oh, no. It's like, oh, so basically you don't want my opinion. You just want me to...
You just want... Yeah, you want them to... You want you to say what they want to hear.
Right. So...
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. So, yeah, they're making a movie of this, and I'm not...
But here's the real question.
What's that?
Pesticides or demons?
Ooh. I'll choose pesticides for 200.
The residents of a village in India are troubled by the rising number of mass suicides in their area. They're saying demons. Investigators are saying the suicides could be caused by pesticides used on their cotton crops. There are 320 families in this area, and every family has had at least one person in their family kill themselves. Investigators were called in, and they think that the pesticides used by the village people on their cotton crops are causing conditions like schizophrenia, depression, that may be leading to suicides. Now, people in that Indian area do not acknowledge depression, therefore do not associate depression to suicide.
So they're so spiritual, and they say everything is...
I mean, who's to say that's not true?
Right. That's what I was going to ask you.
I mean, chemicals in general, regardless of what we're talking about, have a major influence on everything.
Yeah.
And we know that. GMOs and stuff, I mentioned before. I mean, we can go on and on with the bees and whatever. I mean, sometimes these things aren't found out for it. There's a certain level you have to get yourself to of taking these or eating this or inhaling this or having it around long enough where then these effects come up. And if everybody in the community is having and eating and doing the same thing, it's going to be really hard for them to, say, oh, I can see you're being affected, because they're all being affected.
Yeah.
So, who's to say? Maybe.
There was...
Absolutely.
Also, drugs in general, and it could be any kind of drug. It could be a pill. It could be, meth. It can be alcohol. But if you alter...
Baby aspirin.
Lots of it, of course. Oh, I used to love baby aspirin. Our daughter used to love Pepto-Bismol, and she would like, oh, I got such a stomach ache.
Can I have the pink stuff?
Well, I liked baby aspirin, so I faked headaches a lot, because I just loved the taste of them.
Maybe if you didn't eat the 15 marshmallows, you wouldn't have a stomach ache.
That worked out for her, didn't it?
It's her birthday tomorrow.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's funny that, like, if you take a pill or something and it alters your mind... Would you
right.
You're more open to
and some
that.
of this stuff, if you start talking about some of these drugs with heroin or cocaine or some of these different drugs
pesticides,
like this, it takes such an extreme minor amount to affect you.
Yeah.
So if you're taking them minor amounts over the course of every meal or every drink of water, you don't think over the course of a short amount of time, maybe a year or 6 months or whatever, that you couldn't be having a bunch of symptoms and not even realize it because it came on you slowly.
Well, just like when you dream, when you're sleeping, you're more susceptible to the spirit realm because your whole body is shut down, which allows your spirit to be more active. And then when you're taking mind-altering drugs, no matter what it is, it's the same concept. You might be more in tune with spiritual stuff. So we may be saying, oh my God, they got schizophrenia. It's like, no, they can see things because their mind is all messed up. So you just don't know. So I don't know. That's sort of interesting.
A lot to think about.
About people are going to be going, hey, I want some of that pesticide from India. You never know.
Oh, boy.
Okay, mandatory exorcism class.
All right.
There's a Spanish college that is requiring their students to take an exorcism class. Requiring them. It's taught by a renowned demon hunter priest. Ooh. It's at a university college, and I don't know how to pronounce this, Barbarian and Colayan in Madrid. The establishment is funded by the Spanish Defense Ministry. All students are all from military families, and they will learn the theology behind the fields related to the devil, exorcisms, being possessed, and hell. So, that's weird.
Strange.
Isn't that a little weird? I remember, I think when I was graduating from high school, and...
I mean, really? You think this is shocking?
That is mandatory?
I mean, this world, are you kidding me? We got naked newscasts. We have, and we can go on and on with all the weirdness that goes on. What's the latest thing you just told me? It's not in our country though. Completely naked restaurant.
Yeah, there's a completely naked restaurant.
Where's that?
Canada,
wasn't it?
I think it's UK, but I'm not sure.
Okay, UK, but I mean, it's like I
know.
Gotta be a little rough if you get that hot spaghetti sauce on your chest.
I remember, it was a big deal, teaching your kids in 6th grade, sex ed. So if I've got a kid in school and they're like, we're going to teach them an exorcism class. What? That's just weird.
Yeah, Johnny, come up here. We're going to possess you real quick.
We're going to show you how it's done. And little CPR dolls.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, you used to use the CPR dolls, so now you got to have yourself a little possessed imagery, a
little Donald Trump statue that you can get.
Notice the head spinning. Yeah, classic sign right there. What do you do?
It's just weird. And the problem with this is, and I guess in a way it would be good, but when you work in this field, a lot of people are so interested in it, so they I'm a demonologist and I'm this and I'm that. It's like if you have not been confronted with an actual demon before, you don't know. It is the scariest thing ever, and it's I don't.
And there's different levels of them too. They can get worse and worse and worse. So.
And I don't even know if I've experienced the worst, but what I've experienced, I'd never want to do. But we've been in this work for so long. I know it's
you can call yourself a lot of things, but
I just don't think
you have to deal with it.
Studying things like this. I mean, it's good to have knowledge because it helps.
Yep.
But being forced to take a class, and we don't know. I mean, this guy, what? He's like a demon hunter, priest. You hunt demons? I mean, that's weird. So stay away from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh.
Let's talk a couple, relating to all this, a couple past cases.
Yeah, because a couple interesting updates with stuff.
Because things have changed, and change they will.
So,
what goes up must come down. What goes in may come out. And what falls may get back up again.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. I think I'm going to have a drink, too. So, let's talk about that case where we helped the police.
Yo, let's do it.
All right.
Funky Call Medina.
So, we can't, because it's not finalized yet, so we can't really give out the information, but we have, 2 years ago, we started helping with a case. It was originally a missing person.
That was more like 24 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, 24 months, 2 years, something like that.
That's all. All right.
We were called to help police with a missing person case because it had to do with some mental illness, and they wanted our thoughts on it and stuff. So we went out of state to help.
I brought a couple mentally ill people to do it, and that was us.
What better case? Hey, let's call those crazy people. They understand crazy people. And so we went out there and we helped, and it was neat, all the things that sort of unfolded with that.
Yes.
And now it turned out to be a murder case. I mean, they have not found the body, but obviously the guy's gone.
Yeah, the guy's gone. I mean, and we got some,
left kids behind and stuff.
Right.
Well, the person who they suspected ended up fleeing the state and killed their husband. Mm-hmm. Then left that state and now was caught for, I don't know what they did, but they were caught. So at least that person's in custody and can't kill anymore.
Right.
So we're hoping that all the other facts that we gave will unfold. And
well, there was a certain amount of certain amount of confession involved, which kind of sealed a few things as far as being able to. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just glad that she's there. Now there's continuing to look for the body.
I didn't really kill him. I just kind of kept him from living.
Well, she's not admitting to everything. Well, she did, and then she didn't, and now it's all messed up. And, you know, I went with my big girl panties on, and I went up to that door, and I was going to confront her, and she would not answer that door. I was like, what am I, afterwards? I'm like, what was I thinking? That was stupid. But I didn't care. We thought we'd try.
We didn't care.
Yeah. So I'm just really hoping that, and as that case unfolds, as far as conviction and stuff, we will definitely let you guys know.
Yes, definitely, because we know how important it is to you.
Hey, Dan's in chat.
Dan?
Yeah.
Dan from...
Dan the man. Dan from Michigan.
Dan, you mean first page Dan or second page Dan?
Second page Dan. There's only one Dan.
Or turn Dan on.
No, we can't turn Dan on. We're going to read what he says.
Oh, read what he says.
Yeah. When you hear stories of a couple in bed and the wife is getting attacked by something, like let's say sleep paralysis, yet the husband is totally oblivious to it, do you feel spirits attack with mind manipulation, or that they physically are attacking and block the husband supernaturally from witnessing his wife being attacked? I think both.
Both, yeah.
It depends.
We've actually personally experienced this.
Yeah. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Personally.
You wanna...
Like as an us.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, you can tell a little bit about it.
A little bit. I know that... I don't know how to start it.
Well, okay, so we're sleeping.
Yeah.
And I think you woke up in pain or paralyzed. Or...
I was moaning and groaning throughout the night, you said.
Yeah.
And I was very uncomfortable.
Which was weird.
The entire night.
And it was keeping me up.
Right.
And...
So you were aware of it, that I had issues.
Yeah.
But even I wasn't aware of anything spiritual going on, other than I know I physically felt bad at it. I mean, not good. But we had help from somebody too that was spiritually connected to understanding what happened. And it was a spiritual attack on you.
Right.
And they were trying to get
to me, so they were like paralyzing you.
Right.
That's what it was. And the reason we know this is because obviously this was a very personal experience for us and very scary. The next morning, we didn't share it with anybody. The next morning, the person that we know who is very close to the Lord, and she emailed you and
told us what happened without knowledge. She don't even live in the same state.
We didn't even tell her about it. She said something like, I know something that happened to you guys.
And here's
we're
what
like,
happened.
What?
And
so God showed her. And basically she had said that something was trying to get to me, so it was holding you back, but you were in so much pain.
I have never experienced, and I think we've talked about this in a previous podcast, but the pain, I have never experienced anything before, since, and hopefully never again. There was not, and I legitimately mean this, a square inch of my body that did not feel pain. I felt like I was 100 years old. Remember, I couldn't even walk down. I couldn't walk. I couldn't go down the stairs. I was in level 9 or 10 pain. Even the tips of my nose, my hair, everything that could possibly hurt.
And that would not be mind manipulation in that aspect, only because it was a few days after you were still sore.
It was going away, but and our friend told us what had happened, and it was actually the way we were told from her was that this entity actually was trying to have a physical experience with you. And it was trying to shut me down.
Yeah,
so,
and that was a night that we were on a very serious demonic case, too.
Yeah, and we also were in an argument before we went to bed.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That you were wrong at.
No. There comes the mind manipulation aspect of it.
But no, Dan, as far as what you wrote here, there is no limitations when it comes to the spiritual world. What they can do or how they do it. Right. Whether it be God or demons, there is no limitation.
Right.
They can do it however they want to do it and whatever works. So if they want to manipulate one and shut the other one completely off so that the husband has no idea what's going on, put them in a deep sleep, sure, that'll work.
And also, too, I mean, there's been times where it wasn't mind manipulation too, because I remember one night I was actually reading it was supposed to be a Christian book, and it was In His Present Darkness. I think it's by, I want to say Dan Peretti, but I don't know, or Mark Peretti. And the book is basically about these demons, and they give you the aspect of from the demons' way. And I read the first few pages, and because of the background that I come from with the occult, it was just too much for me. I didn't like it, and I put it down. I'm like, I'm not going to read this anymore, even though it was a Christian book. And that night, I was seeing demonic things or whatever, and my mind was telling me that I was unable to move. And I know physically I was able to move, but I couldn't. I just remember screaming so loud, I think you jumped out of bed, because I was like, "Wah!" And I shook for like an hour before I fell asleep. But the point is that I think, like you said, there's no limit. I think there's
no limit. It can be a physical paralysis, and people experience that often in a lot of our cases, where they feel the pressure of somebody on top of them, where they don't feel as though they can move. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to move, but if you can manipulate the mind, you can manipulate any part of anything.
Yeah,
you know,
and when and they'll do that often. They will, if it depends on who's doing the work too. I mean, who's the target. Sometimes a person's a distraction, like in this case where he says, where it's the husband's oblivious, and it can happen. They can shut you down, but God always allows everything.
Right.
So there's always reasons.
There's always reasons.
You can learn from everything too. So
yeah, Dan, when you all these things, there's really just no limitation in the spiritual world. No limitations at all.
Yeah.
So when somebody tells you, oh, a demon can't do this, or God can't, God's in control of all things. God can do anything, which also means God can allow anything to happen.
Yep. And I mean, what better way to break up a marriage for a woman to be...
You were cheating on me with a demon.
No.
I knew it. I knew you were cheating on me with a demon. I knew that dark eye shadow meant something.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
What I was going to say is that it could break up a marriage because, I mean, a woman could be going through something where at night where she's having sleep paralysis. And I've heard a lot of cases like that where, vice versa, too. It could be the man, it could be the woman. And so let's say the woman is being attacked or having these night terrors or whatever, and she's sleep paralysis. Husband's just in a deep sleep. And then all of a sudden, the husband's like, okay, my wife's going crazy. And it starts this animosity and this resentment between them. And I've heard a lot of stories where men will, while they're sleeping, will, attack their wives, sexually. And the wives, and obviously there's something to that, too. So, I mean, it could just, there's so many
probably
things.
Probably not getting what he wants when he's awake.
No, I'm talking about spiritual. Terrible.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Oh, yeah, you're bad. Gosh. So, and it happens. So you got to be real careful. I think the best way to prevent that, too, is just to pray together before you go to bed for protection.
I know Dan could be talking about something maybe he's dealing with right now, a case or something too. So
yeah, so I would always and Dan's a Christian, so he knows prayer is always the answer.
All things.
But a lot of people forget. They forget they can be specific when they pray, and they
be specific. I mean, that's why it talks about not having vain repetition in your prayer.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about that relationship. So when you pray to God, you got to pray to Him about exactly what you want.
Yeah, pray for that protection. And
you were talking to when you were a little kid, and you talked to your mom and dad. You didn't go through this little ritual of what you wanted to say to them. You know, I want a little tight truck, and I want it now.
It's true. Well, okay, so another update on a case is my place in West Dallas. If you guys, if anybody out there has my book or read my book, we talk about a big part of that book is all the stuff that we encountered at that place when I lived in West Dallas, Wisconsin. Well, and my roommate is in that book as well. And I sort of, after, how many years? 15 years, reunited with him to do an episode of Paranormal Survivor. And so we've been in contact since then. And he also lives in that city still, a couple blocks from where we used to live.
Right.
And he let me know that there was this huge incident, sent me a picture, which I'll actually put on the Facebook page, of this incident that happened at our apartment. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad we got out of there. But something went on there where the guy that lived there went nuts and like was going to commit suicide and held people hostage and went nuts, and there was like this whole
standoff and everything.
It was huge. It was on the news, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, see, I told you guys that place is crazy. Get out of there. So you never know what those spirits are going to make people do. And not to say that, there isn't regular mental illness either.
Yeah, you never know. There's always more to it than what you think.
Yeah. All right. So, another incident. Tony, I'll call him Tony, but that's not his real name. But he was from Wisconsin, and this is a cool story. He contacted us, and he was really, and I think we've talked about this before, but he says he sold his soul to the devil, and he was worried, and all he cared about, he thought he was doomed, and all he cared about were his soon-to-be stepkids. He was engaged, or, gosh, I can't remember if he was engaged or if he was married still, but either or, his kids started experiencing things that he was experiencing when he was younger. Now, he's not even related to these kids, but it was, whatever was with him was still with him, and it was coming on to the kids, and they were describing these images that he was seeing, like some kind of beastly dog demon thing. And so he had a horrible experience in a Christian church. It was a deep religion, and it went south, and so he blamed God, turned away from God, joined the army.
Right.
And in the army, he got involved with Satanism.
Yeah.
And because a lot of his members and his bunk mates or whatever got him involved, and he described some things he saw that were so...
Some of the stuff that was described from him in that case is some of the most bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
And that I've ever been told. And I had no reason whatsoever not to believe this man.
No.
There was nothing for him to gain, to tell us anything but truth. And it was pretty wild stuff. And but go ahead.
What was one of the things?
What's the reason we're talking about this? Is there an update on this?
No, now I'm just going to talk about another past case. Well,
Okay.
we're going to talk about what happened with him at the end, which was ends up being a great
died.
story. No, he didn't die.
Oh.
He didn't die. Don't tell people that. He didn't die. So, yeah, he called us in or whatever, and we talked to him. And the first thing is, when people think that it's too late or they've sold their soul to the devil, it's like, first of all, your soul isn't even yours. It's God's.
Right.
So
he'll determine where it goes, when it goes there.
So the hope's never over. No matter how far you think you've gotten, how bad you think things have gotten. I mean, I can tell you about some dark stuff that I practice, and if I would have given up, then it would have been over because I gave up, not because I did it.
Right.
So,
Right.
And so when he called us in...
Well, his main purpose for calling us in is he already pretty much sold himself off as, there's nothing I can do for me.
Right.
But it was his kids and his wife, and that level of concern was enough for him to say, look, whether you can help me or not. And he was convinced he was unhelpable.
Right, yep.
He was convinced there's nothing you can do for me, but the love for his family was, what can I
do? And...
And what did he do? He called us.
We went in, and when we were
called
there,
us.
he got scratches on him in front of us.
We got pictures of him when he lost his whole face in photography.
No, he didn't lose his face.
In photography or whatever.
He lost
took
his
the
eyes.
Pictures. He lost his eyes in the picture.
And, no, you're right. And part of his nose.
Right, yeah. The pictures show up there. And it wasn't even
two pictures.
Really weird.
Yeah, two pictures. In fact, I could probably even put that picture up. I still have it. His eyes are all white. He has slits in his nose. It was scary.
Right.
He wasn't that ugly,
Right.
I promise. Talk more about it because I'm like... So get this, though. Wait, you'll forget this part. When we did set up a recorder at the top of the stairs. And while we were talking to him, we decided we were going to pray over him. I think there were a few of us there. And he ended up getting these scratches, 3 scratches on his neck, and they welted up right in front of us. And while we were doing this, someone actually took a picture, and that's when his eyes were gone. It was pretty weird. But we had recorders set up upstairs while we were downstairs doing this. And when we were praying over him and listened to that recorder back, we heard some cuss words, demonic cuss words.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was crazy. So we knew it was demonic. We knew there was something there. And it ended up that he took our advice.
Yeah, 1 out of every 25 cases, somebody actually takes our advice, and we
Makes
told
it
him,
worth
look,
it.
here's what you got to do. We basically told him, you've got to change your lifestyle. You've got to get yourself involved in a church with truth, and you have to go
surround
down this
yourself
path.
with
You
God.
have to just change your beliefs, your thoughts, your ideas, and you have to go down this path. Because of all that he was experiencing and his fear of what he already knew from the past, he went ahead and Actually took all of our advice, and I think it was about a year or two later, wasn't it?
Yep. He contacted us.
He found us and contacted us, and his whole family had a complete turnaround.
Everything stopped. They were happy.
They were happy.
He got a great job.
Yep, everything that could go right went right for him, and
that
finally,
was awesome.
He finally was convinced through Scripture and truth that his soul was not sold.
Yeah.
And that his whole family, and so they all went on a great path. And that's always our end result of what we want to hear. Isn't to give us a pat on the back. Is to say, look, see, there is hope. It's
right.
The years ago, the word was you get cancer, you're pretty much doomed.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot of research, a lot of things going on out there. Now you can get cancer, and it can be like, well. There is good news. There can be good news, and that's the truth with God. Is you can think all is lost, but given enough chance and opportunity, and when you take them steps forward, you can find out that everything can be different. It can be different.
There was one lady who had asked me or was asking Dan actually, and I in his Facebook group, how do you help people who maybe don't have that Christian faith? And we don't make people believe, and you can't make them read the Bible. It's just a choice. And if you're that desperate, like we were at our lowest,
isn't it amazing to you though, Heidi, how many people who appear to be in such a desperate need? I will do anything. But boy, you throw the name of Jesus out there, God, whatever, and you know what? They turn them right off. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, okay.
Good luck.
Then be doomed. And most of the time, you'll hear back from these people, and they're no better.
Yeah, it's like it starts up again or
changed.
Continues. It's like, well,
down the road, everything's back the way it was. It's like, well,
we've had a few cases where they never did what we did, and we'd either hear about it in the paper or from someone, and there's suicide involved, or it's terrible.
But if you got to lose, But you know what? And I try not to blame individuals either for their lack of faith or not wanting, because the world has taken, religion or the Bible or the Word of God and done so much to it and made such a bad thing out of it.
Yep.
That I got some compassion for people, understanding it's like, I know why you think the way you think and why you won't do certain things because of what the world has done. They don't want to. It's like, I understand.
Well, it's not about religion, and it's not about titles and all that either. It's truly, truly about getting that connection with God, who is the source above what you're being oppressed by, these demons. So that's the only way to go.
Roger that.
Roger that. And then, do you remember that home in Iron Mountain where it was that old farmhouse? And I actually, when we got there, I was puking because I got physically sick. And then it was
It wasn't
Quaker.
from the rabbit food along the side of the road.
No. Rabbit food. I did not eat rabbit.
Yeah.
Roadkill?
Roadkill.
No, I didn't eat that.
Stuff with the foam come out of the mouth. Yeah.
No.
That was another time.
No, yeah. No, it was no time.
Wasn't?
It was from the fluffy French toast. Never mind. Inside joke. All right. So anyways, it was Quakerland, and it was cursed.
Yeah.
Because
that
these
wasn't
people
in
didn't
Iron
even...
Mountain, it was Wisconsin.
Oh. It was in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Okay, Iron River then. Where was it? It was Iron something.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. But anyways.
I guess it was a hard place.
Yeah. And it was an old farmhouse, and they did not take our advice, and their house ended up burning down.
Yeah.
And they don't know how it happened.
That's the place with the flies.
Yes.
The flones.
The flones.
And when I raised the word of God up to the lights of heaven, and there above me flew the flies from hell itself.
What?
In the middle of winter. And I raised the word of God unto them. And I said, Yea, disperse of life. And then the flies fell down beneath my feet. And they became flones.
And the Cliff Note version of that is that there is
Yea, yo ye,
one
though we walk through the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, and evil shall not fear me.
I think evil does fear you.
All right,
I know a lot of people that fear you. That room was full of flies in February or something.
It was November.
November, February, same thing.
Oh, your details are hurting here.
I'm sorry. I'm sick. I can't help it.
Problem is, it's that way when I met you.
Anyways, so the room was infested with flies. So we went in there, and we didn't have full truth at that time.
No,
we did. But we did have the Bible, and you decided. I don't even know what made you do that. He opened up the Bible, lifted it up, and I don't know what you said or what you did.
Well, first of all, I did it all in Arabic.
No, you didn't do it. Old Latin. No, you didn't. No, he didn't do it in Arabic. He did it in Klingon.
Yeah, Klingon. Which wasn't a language then, but shortly will become one. So.
You got to hear last week's.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and all of a sudden the flies just dropped dead.
Yeah,
and I took a picture of it.
We took a picture. We have a picture of all the dead flies right in the middle
gross.
of the bed.
Oh, God, my hair and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was gross, but flies are...
So, and the thing was, they had this beautiful old farmhouse, which was brick, and then they had a barn, and the barn was terrible. I wouldn't even go in there.
Yeah, as far as...
But that...
Terrible as in spiritual activity, but these people lived in a community and area that practiced some things in the past.
And it used to, old Quaker land.
Right, there's some things.
Buried bodies and stuff, and so... but the thing was, they were just what...
That's when we saw our first zombie.
No zombies.
Oh.
Well, the flies. Little flones. And their house ended up burning down. And the thing was, the weird thing about it was that the barn burnt down as well, but the barn was so far from the house, they both couldn't have burnt down. I mean, it's not like it could have.
Well, yeah, that
was weird.
Quite a ways away from the house. So it's like, how did that happen?
And it wasn't arson. So, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay.
Email. All right, now we have an email. Due to my wife's illness at this time, I, the one,
Lord,
will read it to the best of my ability.
It's going to be weird. All right.
Hi, my name is Emily. Well, actually, I'm Scott. I'm reading the email. But I won't be able to hear you live tonight because I have to work. But always listen on Saturdays. Love your show. You all have such talent, duh, and are hilarious together.
And modesty.
I do have a serious question I'd like to ask. I believe it's paranormal in nature. My husband and I are both 31 and have been happily married for almost 7 years now. No problems. We're all good. We ghost hunt together with 3 others. I know you say not to do that, so we... I can't read. So that we don't attempt to talk to spirits, but more feel out eerie places and pray there for the dead and living. We recently did an online meetup with another group in the neighboring city and met them at a cafe before deciding to work with them. Now here's where it gets weird. How do you know when there's a spirit with someone? Now, the guy, I'll call Chris, who heads up the other group, is not really attractive to me.
And she describes what he looks like.
Kind of describes him. He's large, and she doesn't like the ethnicity or whatever, but she says, I like blondes, trim blondes. So I'm guessing her husband's probably a trim blonde. But as we all talked, it was like something came over me, and I was uneasy. I was attracted to him, but it wasn't like it was me. I know you talked about how Heidi, you were overtaken by a spirit before, and it sort of sounds like how I was feeling. I found myself wanting to meet with this guy in secret and be with him. I'm not trying to sound terrible or slutty. Too late.
No.
Okay. But I'm being for real. I've never felt like this before, and it feels unnatural. I love my husband and would never cheat on him, but this is weird. Once I got home, I couldn't shake this feeling and somehow have to tell everyone I'm not comfortable with this group, and I don't know how to explain why. I had a dream about this guy and everything. I seriously am drawn to him, but I almost like a...
But it's almost like a demonic sense.
Yeah. Does this make sense? I prayed about it, and it stopped the next day. But I have to avoid him because I know something isn't right. He does practice shamanism, so could this be something he did or a spirit that's with him? Very strange. I know you guys are probably the only people who could get this answer this. I'd never in 1,000 years tell anyone. This is a sincere inquiry. Can you please tell me your thoughts or if anyone has ever experienced something similar? And I'll listen to you on Saturday, Emily.
We talked about this at dinner when we read this.
Yes.
So go ahead with your thoughts. Which I agree with.
I kind of believe, Emily, you kind of already know all your answers to what you asked. One, can a spirit be with somebody and with him? Absolutely, absolutely. And your first feeling is, I felt uneasy. Well, you're uneasy because there's something there.
And she always followed that first instinct.
That first instinct
always.
Right away. I mean, absolutely, this guy is practicing shamanism. You maybe should research that a little bit so you understand some of the things that they practice and how that could be, drawn to you. But in the spiritual world, sometimes spirits, demons, if you will, like to do experiments. They like to see what will get to you. Once the enemy of our soul figures out the thing that gets to you, they will continue to use the same thing over and over. There's no need to teach an old dog new tricks if the old tricks still work.
Yep.
So this guy, and your answer is real simple, Emily. You have to separate from the group or whatever. You can't be part of it. You already had an uneasy feeling. This happened to you. You're not going to fix it. So I don't know if it's...
And you don't have to tell your husband
tell anybody,
or
but
the group. Just use the fact that he practices shamanism and you're not comfortable with that. You can use that as an excuse, or just say there's just something about it. I'm not comfortable doing it.
I mean, I don't know what you and your husband's relationship is like as far as explaining something
spiritually
to this particular thing to him. I don't know. But if you guys are going to be practicing and going around with some of this ghost stuff and stuff, you're going to have to be open enough to each other to understand that these things and other things can and will pop up. If you're going to play with fire, be prepared to occasionally get burned. Yeah. It's going to happen. So, like I said, I don't want to begin to say, well, you should tell your husband everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. But yeah, first step would be saying, look, I don't want to be a part of this group.
Yeah.
You had an uneasy feeling, don't like where it's going, then you need to just not even play with it.
Yep.
There's no point. It's not going to get you anywhere.
I agree with everything you said.
There's no advantage to you sticking it out or constantly having to pray to, not be tempted or whatever. You already said you weren't attracted to him. So you already know there's something very
weird,
uneasy about this for you.
If you said it's unnatural, that's what it is. You got to follow that instinct.
Right, absolutely.
So that was an interesting email.
Yeah, appreciate the email, Emily. Well written, and I hope we can help you. But you've already got the answers. Follow through to them. I think you may actually find a little bit more strength in your relationship with your husband by telling him this stuff on this level. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, if you're going to be working in the spiritual field, you need to
You're going to have to be open. Your husband has to know and has to be able to sense and realize when something's not quite right with you, or vice versa. Something's not right with him, that you can look into the eyes. Now, I can tell you, with my wife, I can tell you in seconds when something isn't right. I can just tell. I can look at her and say, okay, that's not right. Something's wrong. Not sure what it is always, but enough to know that something ain't right. So you should try to find a way of sharing this with them. And
definitely.
I mean, me as with my wife, if she was to come and tell me that, I'd be fine with it as far as saying, okay.
We've had so many spiritual experiences.
Right, we've had so many experiences. I'd be like, I understand, and I know this isn't her nature, so, all right, we just need to do what's right.
And I guess at a different level, I just say you should get out of that work altogether, because it is dangerous.
Yeah, why don't you collect stamps?
Yeah. I don't know. The ghost hunting, I don't know. Ghost hunting it can be dangerous.
I know, it can be.
And if you're going to be mixing, with people, with strangers, you don't know where they've been, what they've been doing.
Once you start mixing people together in a spiritual surrounding with mixed religions or beliefs or faiths. You've just made a
concoction that's going to blow up.
Oh, it's going to always fail. Something will always go wrong. What it is exactly, you don't know. There's a whole mix of whatever, you know. You just, anytime you put oil and water together, expect a mess. Always.
That's right.
So,
it's time. You know what time?
It is time. Rock.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed. Rock.
Hit it.
It is time for Rock and Reject. All right, what rocks tonight?
Me.
Yes, you do. 15-year-old discovers a Mayan city. Quebec's William Godore? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with last names.
Well, last names are tough, so you did fine. Godore.
Thank you. He came up with this theory that the Mayan civilization chooses their locations of their cities according to star constellations. He found that the Mayan cities lined up exactly with the stars in the civilization's major constellations. So he studied the star map further, and he discovered that one city was missing from a constellation of 3 stars. So he took satellite photos from the Canadian Space Agency, mapped it onto Google Earth and Mayan astronomy, and and remember now, this kid's 15. He discovered the city where the 3rd star of the constellation suggested it would be. It's in the Yucatan jungle, and it hasn't been physically explored yet, but it's going to be. And William got to name it, and he named it the Kakchi, which means mouth of fire. So I think that's just so cool. You got this 15-year-old who discovers this city just based off something so simple.
Yeah.
You know? That's
Makes
cool.
sense, though, because, you know, the Mayans didn't have any of this. You know, and I remember watching some specials on Discovery and different things like that where they talk about the Mayans and trying to understand why is this one over here? And why is this little city so far away, not near water, not near certain things? And it never made sense to a lot of the researchers or Discovery people because it was not. It's like, okay, why would you have it here?
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Such odd places.
And they're trying to discover, was there water cavities? Was there tunnels of water? Because, you know, everything's revolved around water. And well, here's a great explanation. They follow the constellations of the stars, so they wouldn't make sense on the ground.
That's so neat.
Yeah, really cool.
So the whole thing rocks.
Well, here's the reject story. Environmentalist marries a cypress tree. He's an actor in New Mexico, Ricardo Torres. He says he wants to raise awareness for the environment. Now, Ricky walks through the city carrying a bouquet with a wedding party playing music, blesses the tree with water and salt, and the priest puts on a ring on Ricky, and Ricky puts on a ring on the tree branch. He kisses his bride, tree, and people throw rice. Isn't that nice? The honeymoon consists of planting trees with children. He's also an environmentalist.
Adulterist.
Adulterist? And this is his 8th tree he's married.
He's an adulterist because it's 8th tree.
You know, I would like to know maybe a little before I call this thing a total reject. Though.
Oh, it is. No, it's a reject because it's stupid.
It's
I watched
stupid,
the video.
but is it?
He's absolutely serious. He seems
passionate. But it's not that he's marrying the tree per se.
No, it is an actual wedding, though.
But it's not like he's in love with the tree. Like some people are just weird.
Oh, no.
You know, he's trying to make awareness for the environment and making a spectacle out of this to draw enough attention to it to make something happen. So
there's other ways. It's a reject.
But I guess I'm a little on the fence as far as the level of reject.
You don't have to marry a tree to draw awareness. There's plenty of things you could do.
It's not like he's taking this tree to bed with him either.
He kisses it and he puts a ring on it.
Some trees are very, very nice.
Well, according to him, 8 so far are really, really nice. Huh. I don't know. It's just weird.
Well,
and he's an actor, so maybe he's doing it for publicity for himself, too.
So we're on a fence on
that. But he does seem very serious and passionate about this tree. But I just think the whole idea is reject.
Anyway, until next week, chew on this. The sane never will cut the rope. Therefore, only the crazy will be set free.
Hey, this is Heidi from Talk Supernatural. You know I like to talk, so let's keep the confab hot.
Follow us on Twitter at TSR Parapod. And check out our Facebook page, Talk Supernatural Podcast. We air for you, so hit us back. We'd love to hear what you think of the show, too, so email us, talksupernatural@gmail.com, and we'll give you a shout-out on air.
Check out more from Talk Supernatural Radio. Head over to tsradio.net. You can listen to TSR on iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or would like to know more on spiritual afflictions, hauntings, demonic influence, check out Scott and Heidi's SWAT resource site at EPH612SWAT.com.
This world's a tortured place to be. So many things to torment me. And as I stumble down this road, it takes a toll. I need an intervention. But I can see it coming. Some things just can't be explained.
And that's all, folks.